Hello. So, got a little bit of free time to do a little walk here in Telford Town Park. Here for an amble and a ramble. So, Telford Town Park, as the name would suggest, is in the town of Telford and is a park. Okay, so that's the obvious out of the way. So what it is just not a park in the traditional sense of a Victorian park like you would have in some towns and cities, but it's a piece of reclaimed land which used to be for industrial purposes. Telford, well, Ironbridge mainly, was the birthplace of industry, and there were a lot of mine workings and industrial complexes around the area. So just showing you this little area here, this beautiful lake. You can see the swans over there following that man there because he's got food. Some ducks and probably more hens. Don't know whether my eyesight's that good. Just there as well. So this little area here is called the Amphitheater, based on obviously the Roman and Greek amphitheatres, and it was used for performances, but I don't think it has been for a while. It's kind of fallen into a little bit of disuse, disrepair. It's a shame because it would be a wonderful venue, particularly on a summer's night, if you could get a band down there or a performance going on. Anything, even a stand-up comedian would be really good, but sadly not in use. So you can see they actually had a building there for the lighting rig. So I'm going to come back up the stairs here, and I'm going to turn left, continue down the Lord Silkin Way. Lord Silkin was a local dignitary. I'm not sure what he did, but I'm sure he deserved his peerage. He might have been born into it, I don't know, haven't done any research. So we're just going to go past the edge of a little adventure park, fun park, call it what you will, called Wonderland, which is really for children. I'm not sure that it's open at the moment. I think February's a bit early, even though it's half term. So they're probably preparing for the summer season. And we'll continue down this route here. See how far we can take it in the time that we've got. You can see the very noisy geese and swans in the background. So hear them in the background. You can't see them, I can see them. In actual fact, you can probably see them now. Noisy buggers. Anyway, moving on. So somebody who I follow on the various socials, Let's Walk Around Stockholm, somebody who kind of gave me the idea for this, and I'm sorry if it seems as though I'm copying what he's doing, but hey, there's lots of people on YouTube and TikTok and all of those other services that do this sort of thing. There's an awful lot of them, but I've really particularly enjoyed Daniel's walks because A, I love Stockholm, and B, he's just got a lovely way of putting things. Just want to make a clarification that last time I said he lived in the Netherlands on my last video, on my last walk video, but he actually lives in Sweden. He was born in the Netherlands, but he lives in Sweden. So I just want to clarify that. I'm sorry for any hurt that's caused. Thought I'd just say that. So Daniel brings you Stockholm, but I bring you dinosaurs. Ooh, Jurassic Park. Back of the net. A little bit of accidental partridge there. So we'll continue walking down here. I'm going to put my hand in my pocket because my hands are a bit cold now. Some more dinos there. Obviously the fiberglass version. Don't ask me which one they are. I think that's a Tyrannosaurus Rex. And I just call that the spiky one. Let's go with that. It's the spiky one. If in doubt, just bluff it out. So, as you can see, Telford Town Park is very popular with people doing physical activity. This guy's possibly on a PB, so I'll give him some space there. Yeah, thanks, mate. and young lovers alike as well. Cyclists, walkers, runners. Don't think I've ever seen any Nordic skiers, but there's still time. So as I said, it's reclaimed industrial land. There used to be a lot of mine working and factories in the area, and they kind of gave up the land. And the path that I'm walking along here, I believe, don't quote me on this, it used to be a railway line, and you can probably guess that it does look very much like a railway line because it's quite straight and on a gentle incline downwards and upwards. Tell you something, when you're running up it, it doesn't feel like a gentle incline. It feels like a wall, particularly at the end of a half marathon, which I have done here. So we'll continue down here, and you can see actually a little bit of horse manure there. I'll avoid walking in that, I just wanted to point that out. You do get people on horses up here. Unfortunately, you also get people on motorbikes, which kind of ruins the atmosphere a little bit, particularly on a summer's evening and you're running along and some nutter on a little mini bike comes by thinking that they're I'm going to say Barry Sheen, that's the only motorcyclist I could think of, but I'm sure there'll be people who'll go, oh, you should have said this person. Who cares? That's who came to mind at the time. So it's for the public's use, but it's a lovely place. I would say it's tranquil, but a lot of the noises come from the animals in the area. And talking of animals, I was reading online, and this is the only bit of research I really has stuck in my mind. I don't know whether you can see on the tree just over there. There's a box for bats. Now, 2 out of the 16 different varieties of bats in the UK live in this here park. Reminded of a little sketch from one of Ricky Gervais's live shows where he insinuated that naturalists, naturists are people who take their clothes off in public in specific areas, not generally in public, but naturalists are people like Sir David Attenborough. Yes. Yes, I am. Thank you. Oh, that's a nice positive response there. Anyway, where was I? Yes, Ricky Gervais, naturalists, naturalists. Let's call them naturalists. If I'm wrong, I'll make an apology in my next video. So, if you imagine, he was accusing certain naturalists of inventing different types of bats, and a bat with a slightly longer ear. I'm really killing this, aren't I? Go and watch it. It's called Animals. It's fabulous. His other work, Politics and Science, both very, very good. I do like Ricky Gervais. Not to everybody's taste, but I do like a lot of the work that he does. It does get a little bit saccharine at times. I think this series that he did, Derek, one of the later episodes, was a little bit like that, and his most recent one, Afterlife, did get that towards the end. But who's the one there who lives in Hampstead with a very expensive house and lots of money, very successful, deservedly so in my opinion. So we continue down here. They've been cutting down a few trees. Some of them have fallen down naturally. I say naturally, the wind, because we've just kind of got over a couple of very hard storms, very bad storms in the UK. A few years ago they started to name the storms. I know that one was called Franklin. Eunice was another one. My mum's friend's called Eunice, and she's not stormy at all. Last person you'd expect to be called a storm. And then there was Dudley that started it all off. Because if there's one name that doesn't scare you, it's going to be Dudley. Imagine if you were confronted by an assassin and you say, "Who are you?" And I said, "I'm Dudley, the assassin." Deadly would be better. Dudley the Deadly. There we go. Dudley the Deadly Assassin. Yeah, not exactly a scary name, Dudley. Also the name of a town nearby, probably about 30 miles away. As you can see here, there's a bridge coming up. This is usually the point where on Telford Park, when I push for home, I and then 100 yards, 100 metres further up here, I suddenly think I've gone too early. Always do that. But yeah, I think that's more signs that this used to be a railway. I don't know if there's anybody watching this that knows more about it. Please put in the comments, educate me. I want to be educated. I want to learn more things. So it's a lovely area, as I said. I do particularly like it. People often do Telford Down, and my wife was a little critical of my previous video in a nice way, nice sweet sort of way that she goes about it, that I perhaps should promote Telford as a much nicer place. But you know, I can walk along here and I can point out this lovely bridge, which isn't that great. There's a little bit of graffiti up there that's faded. There's moss and mildew on the walls, and yeah, that's not showing the nice side of Telford, but you know, it's showing the natural side of Telford. It's what it is. Not every place is perfect. In actual fact, do we really want perfection in where we live? Isn't having a little bit of I won't say scumminess, but just things that are a little bit worn often look better. Distressed. I know people go for a lot of distressed looks in restaurants and things like that now. It's kind of on vogue. Yeah. So I'm just going to take a left here, hook a left. What time we got? Yeah, okay, I don't want to do this video too long because I'm conscious that my last video was nearly 40 minutes long. So I'll go up this little hill here. Okay, so we're getting to a point here where they call it the Onion, which is not to be confused with the satirical website or YouTube channel, The Onion. It's called The Onion for pretty much one reason. There is a structure here just on my left, and unfortunately this hedgerow is just obscuring it a little bit, that looks a little bit like an onion. Yeah, looks a bit like an onion. So a few families over there. So we're going to just go up to the Jubilee point up here. Jubilee column, I think they call it. I think it was the 2002 Jubilee. Obviously the Queen of the United Kingdom, Her Majesty Queen Elizabeth II, continues to reign, even though she's recovering from a bout of a disease which I don't want to mention because I think I've heard enough of it over the past 2 years. And the sun's come out, it's lovely. So we'll keep walking. You can see the chimney there. Originally it was going to be a furnace, that apparently, according to Tinternet, another piece of information I do remember. But it was never used as that. But it was taken over by a local company that made sulphur, and the local residents complained and they got closed down. This was back in the tail end of the 19th century when the British Empire stretched from one side of the globe to the other, and eventually we gave it all back, thankfully, and nobody ever complained about it or mentioned it again. So we continue to the right down the slope. It's much easier going down the slope than it is going up it. Aircraft over there ruining my sound. How inconsiderate. No, actually, in all seriousness, it could be from the one of the local air bases, or it could be the air ambulance. I'm just looking up there. I can't tell. Could be Sir Alan Sugar, sorry, Lord Sugar, doing a challenge on his show, The Apprentice. It's actually quite a steep decline here. I say it much easier going down it, but I wouldn't want to do this when it's icy. So we'll continue down here, around and into the park a bit more. It's lovely and peaceful. Great way to wind down for the weekend. Hopefully that's not too bouncy, because I am kind of bouncing along a little bit. Just need to slow it down. I think what I'll do after this, I'll go to one of the cafes, have a cup of coffee, maybe even have a slice of cake, and then head on home. Okay. So, don't know whether you can see the chimney there, all its glory. How much of that you can see? Let's turn around, let's keep it going. Keep moving. There we go. Hopefully that hasn't ruined the view for you. So, yeah, lovely park. Birds are singing. No insects out just yet. It's still a little bit cold for them to hatch. It's usually around April, I think. I don't know. I'm not a naturist or a naturalist. Definitely not a naturist. Okay, there's some blackbirds over there. They move so quickly that by the time you've actually caught them on camera, they're gone. It's a saying that sports photographers have, that say if you could see the shot in your viewfinder, you've missed it. So that's probably quite an accurate kind of adage, saying, I don't know. So, up the steps here. Just want to talk about some of the YouTube channels I do actually like to watch. There's a lot of rubbish on there. A lot of stuff that doesn't really deserve to be on there. But that's only in my opinion. And your opinion is just as valid as mine. So, keep going up the hill. Hi. Keep moving up the hill. So obviously I've mentioned let's walk around Stockholm. I don't know whether it's classed as ASMR, which is kind of like soothing. Oh, little bird there. I think that's a thrush. Just got a worm. Too slow, chicken moringa. Okay. So I'll post possibly some of these links in the window below, or somewhere, or somehow you'll find them. So let's walk around Stockholm. Tom Scott, he's got a couple of channels. He's been going for years. He sent a piece of garlic bread up into space. Got the most views he's ever had on his channel. He's always educational and entertaining, in my opinion. You may not like him, you may not like his approach, but you know, he comes from a background in computing like I do, and I've always enjoyed the stuff he does, so I'll hopefully post a link down there. Foreman, who is a singer slash comedian who does some very informative articles on London. He's very good. He does a series called Map Men with his friend Mark. I can't remember his surname, so Mark, if you're watching this, which is a surprise, I'm sorry I can't remember your name. Geoff Marshall. Now Geoff's brilliant. Now I think he's a video editor as well. Some of you might have already seen Geoff's videos. He did a whole series of videos that were funded for him and his partner. I want to say partner, I don't know whether they're an item. His partner Vicky. They went around all of the stations on the UK main line, on the mainland. They didn't include Northern Ireland or the Isle of Man or Guernsey or Jersey, just those ones. So he did those with Vicky, and there was a whole series, so you can go and watch those on YouTube, so I'd recommend that. So there's two, there's Geoff Marshall, and there's all the stations. Bicycle Dutch, some very, very good videos on Bicycle Dutch about cycling infrastructure in the Netherlands, and quite frankly how good it is. And it really always upsets me when he says, oh, this cycling infrastructure isn't very good, and you look at it and you think, well, that would pass for excellent in the UK. I'm an advocate of cycling, so that sort of channel appeals to me. What else? I like the Honest Trailers by Screen Junkies. Although they're a professional outfit, they're still very entertaining. And you go there to be entertained. Sometimes you go there to be educated. But they do some very, very good content apart from that as well. Screen Pitch, they're very good. Similar sort of thing. Pitch Meeting, that was it, not Screen Pitch. Pitch Meeting. Screen Junkies are, no, not Screen Junkies, Screen Rant. There's lots of very similarly named companies, organisations on there. Ryan, he's very, very good. Does some good comedy skits as well. I think he's from Canada. He's got the catchphrase in that pitch meeting, super easy, barely an inconvenience. So for example, something you would expect to be in a film that would be difficult, he says actually it's going to be super easy, barely an inconvenience. So I'd recommend that. There's lots of things I just casually watch. Don't really watch that much. There's Rail Cowgirl, who simply films her journeys as a train driver on the Norwegian railways. They're actually very therapeutic, and I think they're technically classed as what's known as slow TV, though the speed of Norwegian railways is anything but slow. But it's kind of therapeutic. You see them going through these towns in the snow or in the middle of summer on a camera, you know, when the camera's brilliantly done. I've sometimes used them to try and gently get myself off to sleep if I've got a mind that's rattling around in my big old head. Doesn't always work, because sometimes you'll hear like the horn of the train as you're going through a tunnel. So that's just a selection. I'll try and put links to them. There's lots more that I enjoy. Musically, I like watching Depeche Mode videos. Big fan of Depeche Mode. They're my favourite band ever. The album Violator is practically perfect. The only imperfection is that it doesn't last long enough. It's only 9 tracks, and I think they could have probably squeezed another one out, but hey, who am I to judge? I'm just a person who consumes. Listened to Sheryl Crow for a while. She's done some good stuff. I like electronic music. Watched a documentary about Sparks called The Sparks Brothers by Edgar Wright, and obviously it's about the band Sparks that had hits like This Town Ain't Big Enough for the Both of Us, Number One in Heaven, When Do I Get to Sing My Way, and they're an example of a band that have never sold out. And it was an excellent documentary, because there were times you were thinking, is this a spoof documentary or is this actually a real documentary? So is this Spinal Tap, or is this not actually happening? You know, is this real or not? I couldn't. There were times where I felt that was the case. So I'm just going to head to the right here, because I wanted to show you this lake. I don't know whether they're balancing lakes, but obviously a lot of the water from the area runs off into them, and it's beautiful, beautiful green water. And there was a path down there, which gives me some scope to walk on that maybe another day when it's finer. Just going to let this family pass so they don't think I'm some sort of lunatic with a camera. That young woman earlier, she did think, oh, that's cool. So I'm going to turn back. Mr. Bolton. Someone I know. Just given my name away, so my secret identity is no longer secret. Haha. No, it's not really secret. My name's Dan, or Danny, or Daniel if I'm in a lot of trouble. So what I'm going to do, there's a little area down here which should take us to about 25-30 minutes of this video. This is actually the second attempt for the video, because I kind of like went off on a tangent completely, just started talking about things I didn't really want to get into. So we'll get down to a little picnic area, and I'll look to go and get a nice cup of coffee, a bit of fika. they say in Sweden, or afternoon tea, as they say in parts of the UK and the British Empire. Mwah. I don't know why I said that. So keep walking down here. So as you can see to the right there's a path that splits off back towards where we came. I think that will get us down to the lake. Be a nice walk down there when it's not so muddy. Not that I'm scared of mud, but just I want to avoid mud wherever possible, because it's a swine to get off your shoes. So where that bin is, rather unattractive bin, but you know, what can you do? We'll hang to the left and end up in that little area down by the lake, and I'll say my goodbyes to you for this particular video. So it's been a very pleasant walk. Can I say hi Jack, hi Yvette, thank you for following the channel. I know it's not as good as one as Daniel's, but you know, I brought my own flavour to it. We can't be all rock stars or YouTube influencers like he is, and I say that with a real smile on my face. Thank you very much, and have a lovely day.